Welcome to Scholastic IQ, the game where knowledge rules. I'm your host, Ethan Neer, and we have a great second round matchup in store for you tonight. So let's introduce our teams. On the bottom, we have Effingham with Tyler, Morgan, Lex, and Gabe. And up top, we have O'Fallon with Garrett, Henry, Zachary, and Caden. Now, before we get into the questions, we'll just do a quick recap of our rules. We'll start out with some toss-up questions. Those are worth 10 points. If a team gets it right, they move on to a bonus question, which is worth 20 and can be stolen for 10. You guys aren't allowed to interrupt me at any time, but if you interrupt me and get a question wrong, it is 5 points for the other team. So just get the question right, and we got no problems. All right, if everybody's ready, we'll get into the questions. And pencil and paper ready to start. What is the volume of a right circular cone whose height and radius are both 3, given the formula has a 1/3 constant? Henry.
9 pi.
9 pi is correct. Well done. For your bonus, Kenneth Apple and Wolfgang Haken used a computer to help prove what theorem, which is often formulated in terms of coloring countries on a map?
4-color map theorem.
The 4-color map theorem is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what title character kills Glaucon and escapes on a flying chariot in Euripides' play about the end of this woman's marriage to the Greek hero Jason? Garrett.
Medea.
Medea is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what musical that features the song Brave Sir Robin appears in what musical based on Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
No answer.
Effingham, chance to steal.
Spamalot.
Spamalot is correct. Well done. For your next question, what former colony which experienced an exodus of Pied-Noirs after 1962's Evian Accords won independence? Garrett.
Canada.
Canada is incorrect. I will reread the question for you, Effingham. What former colony which experienced an exodus of Pied-Noirs after 1962's Evian Accords won independence in a brutal war with France in North Africa? Gabe.
Algeria.
Algeria is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what name was shared by only 2 emperors of Brazil, the first of whom declared independence from Portugal in 1822?
No answer.
O'Fallon, chance to steal?
Carlos.
Carlos is incorrect. The answer you're looking for was Pedro. Pedro. For your next question, what theologian who heard children singing Tole Lege prompted him to leave the Manichaeism was a bishop of Hippo who wrote? Garrett.
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what Bengali author wrote the national anthems of India and Bangladesh, as well as the poetry collection Gitanjali?
Tagore.
Tagore is correct. Well done. For your next toss-up, what linear triatomic molecule has a solid form known as dry ice, is the primary? Henry.
Carbon.
Can you repeat that for me?
Carbon.
Carbon is incorrect. I will repeat it for you. Effingham, what linear triatomic molecule has a solid form known as dry ice, is the primary contributor to greenhouse effect? Lex.
Carbon dioxide.
That is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what German Renaissance artist showed a contemplative angel in his engraving Melancholia, 1?
Stein.
Stein is incorrect. O'Fallon, chance to steal.
Durer.
Durer is correct. Well done. Your next question. What king who was imprisoned at Dürnstein Castle by Leopold V fought the Third Crusade and had an animal-inspired? Garrett.
Richard the Lionheart.
That is correct. Well done. And for your bonus, pencil and paper ready. What is the volume of a pyramid whose height is 6 and whose square base has sides that each have a length of 7?
$147.
147 is incorrect. Effingham, chance to steal.
294.
294 is also incorrect. The answer you're looking for was 98. 98. For your next toss-up, what book in which a human boy named Sam Beaver protects a nest full of eggs was written by E.B. White about a bird who plays the title instrument? Gabe.
The Trumpet of the Swan.
That is correct. Well done, Gabe. For your bonus, what country's 2024 elections, which have been delayed for 9 years, will include President Salva Kiir, who has led it since its 2011 independence?
South Sudan.
South Sudan is correct. Well done. And that'll take us to our first media question. This mascot was, Gabe.
Colonel Sanders.
That is correct. Well done. And since that was a media question, there is no bonus question. So we'll take it back to the toss-ups. What river whose tributaries include the Ubangi flows past the capital of Brazzaville and Kinshasa in 2, Gabe?
Congo River.
That is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what British literary prize awarded in 2022 to Seven Moons of Mali Almeida expanded eligibility in 2014 to all English language novels?
Pass.
O'Fallon, chance to steal.
Pulitzer.
That's incorrect. The answer we're looking for was the Booker Prize. The Booker Prize. Your next question. In July 2023, what country led by Ulf Kristersson overcame objections from Turkey to its joining NATO 3 months? Garrett.
Finland.
Finland is incorrect. I will read it for you, Effingham. In July 2023,
Sweden.
Sweden is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what class of fundamental particles includes electrons, muons, and neutrinos, and has a name starting with L? So you guys are all out of time. O'Fallon, chance to steal.
Leptons.
Leptons is correct. Well done. For your next toss-up, what country was forced into the normalization period by Warsaw Pact troops after Alex Dubček led a reform movement known as the Prague Spring? Garrett.
Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia is correct. Well done. For your bonus, French painter Henri Matisse lives near what city on France's Côte d'Azur, which is about 10 miles west of Monaco?
Nice.
Nice is correct. Well done. For your next question, what artist who organized Dismaland, a parody of Disneyland, created the girl with balloon stencils and is an anonymous? Garrett.
Banksy.
Banksy is correct. Well done. For your bonus, Tulips meets the robot 1-1 on a cartoon named for an infinity type of what vehicle, another of which circles the globe on the show Snowpiercer?
Train.
Train is correct. Well done. For the next toss-up, what product suddenly appears in 6 stone jars at the start of John chapter 2 during the wedding at Cana in the first miracle? Zachary.
Wine.
Wine is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what NASA space probe carried an instrument named Ralph, which was used to produce images of Pluto during a 2015 flyby?
Voyager 2.
That's incorrect. Effingham, chance to steal.
Voyager 1.
That's also incorrect. The answer we're looking for was New Horizons. New Horizons. And for your next question, pencil and paper ready. What is the product of 4,000 times 3,000, given that 1,000 times 1,000 is equivalent to 1,000,000? Henry.
12 million.
Can you repeat that for me?
12 million.
12 million is correct. Well done. For your bonus, suborning refers to the practice of persuading another person to commit what crime that includes lying while under oath?
Perjury.
Perjury is correct. Well done. For the next toss-up, what 2015 film based on an Andy Weir novel is titled for Lex?
The Martian.
The Martian is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what term for a stylized symbol made of intertwined letters is often used for motifs that can be embroidered onto tailored clothing?
Monograms.
Monogram is correct. Well done. And that'll take us to our next media question. This German music streaming, Garrett.
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud is correct. Hold on. Back to the toss-ups. What woman who was sold into a marriage to Toussaint Charbonneau was a Shoshone interpreter who assisted the Lewis and Clark expedition? Henry.
Sacagawea.
Sacagawea is correct. Hold on. For your bonus, the second and fourth quantum numbers for electrons in an atom correspond to the spin and orbital types of what classical quantity?
Angular momentum.
That is correct. Hold on. For your next question, what animal with extinct Caspian and Bali species and an endangered Garrett?
Tiger.
Tiger is correct. Hold on. For your bonus, Ella Baker was a strategist for what civil rights organization established by young African American activists in 1960?
Black Panthers.
That is incorrect. Effingham, chance to steal.
The NCAA.
That's also incorrect. The answer we're looking for was the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC. For your next toss-up, what last name is shared by the singer of I Got You, who is known as the godfather of soul and an abolitionist who led a raid on Harper's Ferry? Gabe.
John Brown.
Brown is correct. For your bonus, what alcoholic beverage depicted in namesake paintings by Edward Degas and Vincent van Gogh was once known as the Green Fairy?
Absinthe.
Absence is correct. Well done. For your next question, what opera whose arias include Che Galida Ma? Garrett.
La Boheme.
La Boheme is correct. For your bonus, what groups of shrubs or trees that grow in brackish water help protect parts of Asia's coastline from the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami?
Reeds.
Means is incorrect. Effingham, chance to steal.
Mangrove.
Mangrove is correct. Well done. And that will take us to our lightning round. The way our lightning round works is each team will have 60 seconds to answer as many questions as they can about a particular topic. Now, Effingham, since you guys are trailing in this one, you get the first pick of the litter. Your choice is the Aeneid, 1990s Britain, foreign language names, or tens.
Can you repeat the first one?
It's, I believe, Aeneid or Aeneid? Or Aeneid, excuse me, Aeneid.
We'll go with tens.
Tens, all right. Answer the following about the number 10. 60 seconds on the clock. I will count you down. 3, 2, 1. 10th month of the Gregorian calendar.
October.
Founding father depicted on the $10 bill. You can pass as well.
Pass.
A period of 10 years.
Decade.
Either Old Testament book that lists the 10 commandments.
Exodus.
Type of number that includes 10, 15, and 21.
Pass.
Street whose number 10 is home to the British Prime Minister.
Pass.
10th president whose name followed Tippecanoe in a slogan.
Tyler.
Decapods like shrimp belong to this phylum.
Crustacean.
That's incorrect. Country with 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms.
China.
Noble gas whose atomic number is 10.
Neon.
Founding father depicted on the $10 bill. So you guys are all out of time. We will go through the ones you missed. The founding father on the $10 bill was Alexander Hamilton. The type of number that includes 10, 15, and 21 is a triangular number. The street whose number 10 is home to the British Prime Minister is number 10 Downing Street. Decapods like shrimp belong to this phylum, Arthropoda. Arthropoda. All right, Fallon, it is now your guys' turn. Your choice is Aeneid, 1990s Britain, or foreign language names.
We'll do foreign language names.
Foreign language names it is. Given a language's name for itself, such as le français, give the English name of that language, such as French. 60 seconds on the clock. I will count you down. 3, 2, 1. Espanol.
Spanish.
Ruski.
Russian.
Nederlands.
Dutch.
Al Arabia.
Arabic.
Nihongo.
Pass.
Magyar. Magyar.
Norwegian.
That's incorrect. Norsk.
Norwegian.
Aguanhua.
Pass.
El Inika.
Pass.
Ivrit.
Irish.
That's incorrect. Nihongo.
Japanese.
That's correct. Guanhua.
Pass.
El Inika.
Persian.
That's incorrect. Guanhua.
Indian.
That is incorrect. All right, we will go through the ones you guys missed. For Magyar, it was Hungarian. For Guanhua, it was Mandarin. For El Inika, it was Greek. And for Ivrit, it was Hebrew. Hebrew. All right, after our lightning round, let's take a quick look at our scores. And we have O'Fallon with 320 and Effingham with 235. So still a very close game as we enter our second half. Let's get to it. What phenomenon whose far-field types can be explained by Huygens' principle can be caused by an aperture and involves light bending around Gabe?
Redshift.
Can you repeat that for me?
Redshift.
That is incorrect. I will read the question for you, O'Fallon. What phenomenon whose far-field type can be explained by Huygens' principle can be caused by an aperture and involves light bending around an object? Garrett.
Refraction.
Refraction is incorrect. The answer you're looking for was diffraction. Diffraction. For your next question, what novel in which the note "Goodbye because I love you" is left by Robert Lebrun ends with the drowning of Edna Pontellier and Garrett?
The Awakening.
The Awakening is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what author wrote about dead people who all are sleeping on the hill in the first poem of his free verse collection, Spoon River Anthology?
Masters.
Masters is correct. Well done. For your next question, what driver of the number 22 car co-sponsored Garrett?
Joey Logano.
Joey Logano is correct. Well done. For your bonus, in a common birth defect, the two halves of what structure located above the tongue fail to properly join together, connecting the mouth and nose?
Philtrum.
Filtrum is incorrect. Effingham chance to steal.
Uvula.
Uvula is incorrect. The answer you're looking for was palate. Palate. For the next question, what solid material forms when updrafts and downdrafts in clouds cause cycles of refreezing? Garrett.
Hail.
Hail is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what saxophonist who recorded Orthonology with Benny Harris pioneered bebop and was nicknamed Bird?
Charlie Parker.
That is correct. Well done. For the next question, what country where two pilots died when a fire extinguishing plane crashed in Evia was the site of 2023 wildfires in Corfu, Carinthia, and Rhodes? Gabe.
Greece.
Greece is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what country, which is home to the Izalco volcano, is west of the Gulf of Fonseca and southwest of Honduras?
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua is incorrect. O'Fallon, chance to steal.
El Salvador.
El Salvador is correct. Well done. For your next question, what author of the dystopian science fiction novels Clara and the Sun and Never Let Me Go is a 2017 Nobel laureate who moved to Britain from Japan? Garrett.
Akutagawa.
That is incorrect. The answer we're looking for was Kazuo Ishiguro. Kazuo Ishiguro. For your next toss-up, what creatures whose kings rule over the four seas surrounding China are auspicious beings honored in a boat festival and resemble serpents? Garrett.
Dragons.
Dragon is correct. For your bonus, the 2023 MLB Home Run Derby was won designated hitter for the Toronto Blue Jays, whose father was a Hall of Fame outfielder.
Pass.
Effingham, chances to.
Smith.
Smith is incorrect. The answer you're looking for was Vladimir Guerrero. Vladimir Guerrero. For your next toss-up, what battle whose victors were commanded by Eurybiades of Sparta and Themistocles was a major naval victory for the Greeks over Persia in 480 BC? Garrett.
Salamis.
Battle of Salamis is correct. Well done. For your bonus, pencil and paper ready. What is the speed in kilometers per hour of a jogger who can run 300 meters every minute?
Yeah. 18.
18 is correct. Well done. For the next toss-up, what novella's protagonist dreams of lions on an African beach, praises the great DiMaggio, and is a fisherman? Garrett.
The Old Man in the Sea.
The Old Man in the Sea is correct. Well done. For your bonus, in what 20th century decade did the Johnson-Reed Act severely restrict immigration to the U.S. by instituting a quota system?
'40s.
The 40s is incorrect. Effingham, chance to steal.
50s.
50s is incorrect. The answer you're looking for was the 20s, the 1920s. For your next toss-up, what tiny objects which act as particles based on their vibration lend their name to a theory of everything and are named for their rope-like form? Gabe.
Springs.
Strings is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what Jewish American author of The Mysteries of Pittsburgh wrote about two cousins who write comic books in the amazing adventures of Cavalier and Clay?
No answer.
O'Fallon, chance to steal.
No answer.
All right, the answer you're looking for there was Michael Chabon. Michael Chabon. For your next question, what project led by General Leslie Groves was based at the Oak Ridge Laboratory? Gabe.
Manhattan Project.
That is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what term named for a mythical youth whose body was forcibly joined with that of the nymph Salmacis describes a being with male and female organs?
Chimera.
Chimera is incorrect. O'Fallon, chance to steal.
Hermaphrodite.
Hermaphrodite is correct. Well done. Next question. What 1824 musical work, sometimes nicknamed Choral, has a fourth movement celebrating universal brotherhood using Friedrich Schiller's Ode to Joy? Caden.
Beethoven's Ninth.
Beethoven's Ninth is correct. For your bonus, in 2023, Hyun Tok Kim et al. Claimed to discover a material that has what property at room temperature, enabling it to expel external magnetic fields?
Superconductivity.
That is correct. For your next question, what state, which is nicknamed the last best place, contains Glacier National Park and Garrett?
Montana.
Montana is correct. For your bonus, what analytical technique is a qualitative form of emission spectroscopy that yields a carmine red output for lithium?
Flame test.
Flame test is correct. Well done. For your bonus, for hyperbola, what points have a tangent parallel to the conjugate axis, are a semi-major axis away from the center, and are the tips of branches? Garrett.
Co-vertices.
Co-vertices is incorrect. The answer you're looking for was just vertices, not co-vertices. For your next question, what senator who led negotiations with Joe Manchin to pass the Inflation Reduction Act is from New York and is the Senate Majority Leader? Garrett.
Mitch McConnell.
That is incorrect. The answer you're looking for was, I didn't even know his name was Charles, but it's Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer. And that bell means it is all the time we have for on today's show, so let's take a look at our scores. We have O'Fallon on top, 525 to Effingham's 265. So O'Fallon, good job pulling away after that lightning round. Well done. Well, that is all the time we have for on tonight's show. For the people working hard behind the camera and our lovely contestants here today, I'm Ethan Neer. Thank you so much, and good night.